Hello students, welcome back. Let us continue our discussion on political affairs. As all of you know, current affairs is a part of CSEET exam and it is included in the paper 4 part A. Now let us go through some of the important appointments that has taken place in the country. Of course, this happened in the year 2019, but it is good to know these facts. A few governors are appointed by central government. See, in India, the central government will appoint governors in the state, and the state government would be reporting to the governor. This is, of course, the continuation of the British style of administration, where there used to be a governor from the British in the Indian kingdoms. That same practice is continued even after independence. There are questions that are raised about this whole idea of having a governor who represents the central government and all that. But still, this continues. We will not get into that discussion and debate, at least here. But let us understand that appointment of governors has taken place in the year 2019. So, in the state of Telangana, Tamili Sai Soundararajan has been made the governor. In Rajasthan, Kalraj Mishra has been made the governor. Bandaru Dattatreya is the governor of Himachal Pradesh. Arif Mohammad Khan is the governor of Kerala state, and Bhagat Singh Koshyari is the governor of the state of Maharashtra. So these are some of the latest appointments that has taken place. Let's continue our discussion on committees and appointments. Constitution of committees to review defense procurement procedure. See, in India, we don't manufacture a lot of defense equipments. One of our chief imports has been defense equipments. We import defense equipments from Russia, Israel, US, a lot of other countries in the world. So now there is a lot of stress, especially through Make in India program, which is given to make sure that defense equipments are manufactured in the country. And the FDI limit has been increased and an automatic route has been created. But we have always been importing the defense equipments. And whenever there is a big scale, large scale procurement of defense equipments happens, there would always be controversies. There would always be rumors of scam and other things. The 900 crore scam of Bofors is yet to be settled in the country. There were a lot of controversies surrounding the Rafale jet import from France. So there are a lot of such things that keeps happening whenever there is defense equipment procurement. So some standard methods has to be brought in, which will make sure that the procurement is free from controversies and corruption. So that's the reason a constitution of the committee has been taken place to review the method of procurement. Committee reports on CSR. CSR stands for social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. The Companies Act of 2013 stresses on the corporate social responsibility and says that companies having turnover of 5 crore and above should participate in CSR and all that. So there is a committee report which has come on CSR. High-powered committee of Chief Minister constituted for transformation of India's agriculture. We have studied this in economics as well in chapter number 5. We have seen that even to this day, 58% of India's population depends on agriculture. So having an agriculture system or having a sound agricultural environment is very important for the economic growth of the country. So a high-level committee has been created for that. Constitution of 3-member committee to look into the assets and liabilities of J&K. We know that J&K has been made a part of Indian Union by abolishing Article 370, and they have been made into union territories. And hence it becomes the duty of the central government to make sure that they get all the required things and to ensure that the life of the people there is safe, secure and progressive. So that's the reason there is a committee which has been made which is looking into the assets and liabilities of Jammu and Kashmir. Now let's continue this. Michael Debabrata Patra becomes the Deputy Governor of RBI. We know that RBI will have a governor. He becomes the chief of RBI and there will be 4 deputy governors and there is a new appointment that has happened. Indian advocate Harish Salve appointed as Queen's Counsel. So in the United Kingdom, people who have got some extraordinary expertise and caliber in the legal framework or the legal environment would be named as members of Queen's Council, the very prestigious council in the UK. Now, Harish Salve is a very prominent lawyer who comes from India and who represents India in the International Court of Justice and other things. He is also fighting Kulbhushan's case. Kulbhushan Yadav is an ex-Navy personnel who has been arrested in Pakistan, alleging that he was spying. So he takes up such cases and he fights for them. And recently there is a news that he divorced his wife Meenakshi Salve and he has got married to a London-based model. Anyway, so all these are the news that are related to Harish Salve, a very prominent personality in the Indian system. So it is something that all of us have to follow. Like I've been telling from the beginning, let's understand one thing very clearly. The current affairs is something which keeps changing, which keeps developing, evolving every day. So the reference material was drafted almost a year back now. So it becomes important for all of us to look into the newspapers on a daily basis, read the news and make sure we understand and retain all that we read. Let's continue our discussion. Supreme Court appointed 4 new judges, increasing the total strength of judges to 34 from 31. This number is to be remembered. So there are 34 Supreme Court judges today. The 4 new judges who took oath are Chief Justice V. Ramasubramanian of Himachal Pradesh, Chief Justice Krishna Murari from Punjab and Haryana State, then Rajasthan Chief Justice S.A. Ravindra Bhatt and Kerala Chief Justice Rishikesh Roy. So they are the people who have been appointed. Dr. P.K. Mishra, who was serving as the Additional Principal Secretary to Prime Minister, has been appointed as Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. So this is a promotion to Dr. P.K. Mishra. Mr. Rajiv Gauba has been appointed as a new Cabinet Secretary for a tenure of 2 years. Before joining as Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Gauba was the Secretary of Home Affairs. His appointment as Cabinet Secretary was approved by Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. So these are some of the appointments that has taken place. We need to remember these names and the new designations that they hold. Announcement on government initiatives or schemes in Union Budget. So Union Budget 2020 was presented in the month of February. There are certain important announcements that have been done. So let us look into those announcements. National policy in official statistics. Now we are in an era where we tell that data is a new fuel. So everything is data driven. There is a complete branch of science which is developing, which is called data science. And there are a lot of people who work on data collecting, organizing, presenting and all that. And that is called data sciences, data management, database management and all those things. So there is a lot of data that is generated, saved, managed. So government has come out with the official statistics policy, which tells that how to deal with all this data and data that is important for governing the country as well. So that's the policy all about. National logistics policy. We know that once, especially in the agriculture sector, once the food grains are produced, it is very important that it has to reach the consumption area. Or if you take the small and medium scale industries, they also will have a very small margin, and logistics is a very important part for them. So any small business, cottage business, medium scale business, they need direction, they need support when it comes to logistics activity. So Government of India has come out with National Logistics Policy, which will basically help the medium and small scale industries and agriculture sector and other small sectors. New education policy, this was announced in the budget and it has already been approved by the cabinet, and this is called the New Education Policy of 2020. The last time this policy was introduced, the education policy was introduced in the country was in the year 1986. So it's been 34 years. Since then, the education system more or less has remained the same. So new education policy is being introduced and some very fantastic things are getting introduced in the Indian education system. From a knowledge and memory-based education system, the Indian education system is expected to be a skill-based education system, which is a great thing to happen in the country. National Skill Development Agency, like all of us know, there is a lot of importance and thrust given on skill development in the country. if you take India, we spend a marginal percentage of our GDP on skill development. But if you look at some of the developed countries like Japan, they spend 15 to 18% of their GDP on skill development of the people. So that's the prime reason why government is stressing so much on skill development. Vivad se Vishwas. So this is a new program that has been introduced by Government of India. So the time was given as 30th of June, if I'm not wrong, which told that if there is any dues, the tax dues that people have to pay, it's the right time for them to pay the tax without penalty. That was the whole program of Vivad se Vishwas. So this is basically for those people who have got arrears, tax arrears to be paid, and it aimed at helping them. National Technical Textiles Mission. India is one of the largest consumer and producer of textiles. So keeping the textile industry in mind and keeping the future prospects of textile industry of India, the new textile mission has been created by Government of India, and it was announced in the Union Budget 2020. Then Village Storage Scheme. This again helps the small-time farmers to store their produce very safely till the time it is sold by them. So that is something which is done to help the farmers. So these are some of the announcements that happened in the Union Budget 2020. There are a few more programs, very interesting programs which have been launched by Government of India. First one is government launched UMMID to tackle inherited genetic diseases. So on one side, science and technology is growing. On the other side, it is very important for us to work towards the improvement of medical sciences. And medical sciences can definitely come out with answers and a cure for a lot of diseases. And genetically inherited diseases are very dangerous. So Government of India, genetically inherited in the sense from one generation to another generation, through the genes itself, diseases gets transmitted. So how to tackle such diseases is one of the concerns. So government has launched a scheme which will work research on the genetically inherited diseases. Kisan Mandan Yojana. This is one of the wonderful schemes that Government of India has introduced. Farmers who have crossed the age of 60, who were farmers, who have got a bank account and whose Aadhaar numbers are linked to the bank account. For such farmers, 6,000 rupees annually has been credited by Government of India. Even during the lockdown time, this amount was credited by Government of India to make sure that the elderly farmers of the country lead a respectful life. So this is the Kisan Mandan Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Lagu Vyapar Mandan Yojana. This is another scheme which is launched especially for the Lagu Vyapar. Lagu Vyapar is small-time vendors, small-time businessmen, for them. So here it works like PF, where one portion is contributed by the businessman and the other portion is contributed by Government of India. Right. So Government of India is also setting up the National Digital Library, which can be accessed by every citizen of the country. It will have lakhs together of books, titles and other things where people can access, get the information and empower themselves with knowledge. Announcement of Jal Jeevan Mission. This is basically done in order to protect the water body, water sources, and it talks about the importance of water and the importance of saving the water bodies. And the last point is the NEET Artificial Intelligence Learning Scheme. So this is also something which is related to education, so that children who are in need of good education are not deprived of it. And this comes with the inclusion of artificial intelligence into it. See, the information technology has gone ahead, and artificial intelligence is one of the domains which is in the forefront today. So the whole idea behind this is to include artificial intelligence. So there is real-time reports and analysis and data that is available for the users. So these are some of the programs which has been introduced by Government of India. So governance and ethics. So this is something related to the ethical part of governance. World Youth Conference for Kindness. So this is a program which is done for the youth of the country. And here the stress is on kindness. Unless humans behave like humans will behave like humans when they are kind enough towards others and other things and other living beings and the environment in which they live. So this program basically focuses on inculcating kindness in the youth so that they become better human beings. PIO cards to continue as valid travel document up to March 2019. Of course, it's almost 6-7 months after the expiry of this. PIO stands for Person of Indian Origin Card. So these are the cards that are generally carried by the non-resident Indians. Cabinet approves promulgation of prohibition of electronic cigarettes in Ordinance 2019. So in India, the electronic cigarettes are not to be used, they are prohibited. Forever 21, it's a company and it has gone as a bankrupt. Follow global standards in governance and economics. So this is something which government is working towards. And the last point here is Reliance Capital will no longer be in any lending business. It has been told by Anil Ambani. Anil Dhirubhai Ambani is the brother of Mukesh Ambani, who is the chairman of Reliance Industries Limited, and he is the son of Dhirubhai Ambani. It's unfortunate that Anil Dhirubhai Ambani group is not doing well in business, and he has told that Reliance Capital will not continue in the lending business. So these are some of the facts and figures and news updates related to political affairs of the country. I've been telling from the beginning, a lot of news that has been printed in the reference material is already old because the book was printed 6, 7, 8 months back. If you have gone through the syllabus, you would have understood that there is a section which deals with different ministers and their ministries. In this video, an attempt has been made to understand the most important ministries and ministers and a brief profile of those ministers. Let's start with few important definitions. The first one is what is the meaning of Council of Ministers? Council of Ministers are the group of ministers who get elected through the elections from a particular political party, and they form the government. So who are cabinet ministers? The senior ministers of this council become the cabinet ministers, and their deputies are called the ministers of states. It means that we have the cabinet ministers and their deputy ministers are the ministers of state. Right, and ministers of state with independent charge are ministers who will not have a cabinet ministers. So there are three categories that we see here. The cabinet ministers, then we have the ministers of state, then we have ministers of state independent charge. So this is how the ministers can be categorized. Right, let's start with the profile of the Prime Minister of India. And the current Prime Minister of India is Shri Narendra Modi. And Narendra Modi is the 14th Prime Minister of the country. He was born in the year 1950. He is the first Prime Minister of the country to be born after independence. And he assumed the charge of Prime Minister. He is in the second term now. First term he assumed the charge on 26th November 2014, and second term is from 30th May 2019, and the next general elections are expected to happen in the year 2024. Now, apart from being the Prime Minister, he also holds the other portfolios. They are Minister of Personnel, then Public Grievance and Pensions Department, Atomic Energy, and the Department of Space. So these are the other ministries he holds apart from being the Prime Minister of the country. And he is also in charge of all the policy issues and portfolios that are not allocated to any other minister. So he is in charge of the entire government and its operations. And this is the portfolio of the Prime Minister of India. Right, let's go to the next minister. Before we go, just word about the Prime Minister of the country. He was also the Chief Minister of Gujarat from 2001 till 2014, and he developed something called the Gujarat Model of Development, and that was the main reason for him to get elected in the first term, and he got elected in the second term as well. The second minister that we are discussing here is the Home Minister of the country, and the present Home Minister is Shri Amit Shah. He is the youngest serving full-time Home Minister of the country. He is just 54 years old. Now, he has been the Rajya Sabha member since 2017 before contesting Lok Sabha elections in 2019. And he was also the party president of BJP from 2014 to 2020. 2020, and he has served as the minister in Gujarat state under the leadership of Narendra Modi. He was also the home minister there. Home ministry is a very important ministry in the country. The entire police force and internal security comes under the home minister. Right, let's go to the next ministry. It's the finance ministry. Very, very important because this ministry deals with money. And who is the current finance minister? It is Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Now, she is a member of Rajya Sabha. If you see, Government of India has got two sabhas or two houses. One is the lower house. It's also called the Lok Sabha, and the upper house is called the Rajya Sabha, and it is the upper house. So what do we understand here is that to the Lok Sabha, all the representatives are directly elected by the people. Now, your MP is elected by you. All the MLAs of your state will select the Rajya Sabha members. So, Rajya Sabha members are not directly elected by the people, but they are elected by the elected MLAs of different states. So, Nirmala Sitharaman is the Rajya Sabha member, and she is a Rajya Sabha member representing the state of Karnataka. She is the Rajya Sabha member since 2014. Previously, she was the spokesperson of BJP as well. Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Corporate Affairs comes under her. So you might have seen that when we study the syllabus of CSEET, you might have read that the issue is something has been passed by corporate affairs. So everything that is related to companies, rules and regulations comes under this ministry. So it is very important for us to follow information related to this ministry. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman has served as the defense minister as well. In the first term of PM Narendra Modi, unfortunately, Parikar, who was the defense minister, was diagnosed of cancer, and he decided to move away from the central politics, and he moved back to his home state Goa, and he continued to be the chief minister of Goa, and finally he succumbed to cancer. So during this period, when Mr. Parikar relinquished the defense minister's position, Nirmala Sitharaman took charge as the defense minister, and she was the first full-time lady defense minister of the country. And by qualification, she is MA in economics. If you read her profile on the internet, you come to know that she had actually enrolled for PhD, but her husband got a fellowship in London and she had to move, and she discontinued her PhD. As of now, her qualification stands as MA in economics. Right, defense minister of the country, very, very important portfolio. So who is the defense minister of the country? It is Shri Rajnath Singh. So if you see the profile of Shri Rajnath Singh, he is the defense minister from 30th May 2019. Previously, he was the home minister during Narendra Modi's first term. He served full 5 years as home minister of the country. Shri Rajnath Singh has been a part of late Shri Vajpayee's government also. He was the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh as well, and he was the president of BJP. So he is a very seasoned politician and a veteran minister whom you find in the present cabinet ministry. Right, then we have the external affairs minister. External affairs minister is very commonly called the foreign minister of the country, and it is S. Jaishankar. He is MA, MPhil, PhD. His PhD topic is very, very interesting. He has done his PhD in the relationship of the nuclear powers of the country. In fact, his father, Krishnaswamy Subramaniam, was the critic, analyst, commentator and an advisor on nuclear energy and nuclear power to Government of India. So he has served the Indian Foreign Service, that is S. Jaishankar, and he has served as ambassador of the country in countries like USA, then Singapore, then Czechoslovakia, Japan, and all these countries. He was also the representative of India in the UN as well. So Jaishankar was born in the year 1955. He is an Indian diplomat and politician who is the current Minister of External Affairs, Government of India since 31st May 2019. Next comes the Minister of Law and Justice, and the Minister of Law and Justice is Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad. He is from the Bihar state, and he is an Indian lawyer and a politician, and the current minister holding the Law and Justice. He also holds electronics and information technology. Important additional portfolios are electronics and information technology. Along with that, he also holds the communication portfolios in the government. A lawyer by profession, he has practiced in Patna High Court and Supreme Court of the country. He has been a minister in late PM Shri Vajpayee's government as well. Right. The last minister or the ministry that we are discussing here is the Human Resource Development Ministry, which is very popularly called as MHRD. Very, very important. All universities' education system comes under the MHRD. So the MHRD minister is Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal. So he has been the Minister of Human Resource Development. Earlier, MHRD was called the Ministry of Education. Now we know that it is not just confined to education. This ministry takes care of the entire human resource development in the country. There was a time in India where we felt that population is a bane. Now we feel population is a boon, because well-educated population can be the biggest asset any country can own. And India has 1.3 billion people, and we are one of the youngest countries in the world. So the responsibility of MHRD is simply huge. Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal was the CM of Uttarakhand between 2009 and 2011 as well. And he started his career as a teacher. This is very, very interesting. He is a teacher turned politician. So very interesting. And he is heading the MHRD, which is concerned with the education of the people. So you cannot find a better person to be the minister in MHRD. Apart from this, he has also written novels, stories and poems. And he has authored 44 books in Hindi, and few of which have been translated to English as well as other Indian languages. So this is the profile of our MHRD minister. Now let me just remind you, this is how we should understand every ministry, and there are a lot of ministries that are available. So keeping this as an example, you can read and understand more about other ministers as well. So this video focuses on some important names to know. So which are those important names which we should know? Here is a table which presents a few people. They are very, very important. So the first person is Shri Ramnath Kovind. He is the president of our country, and president of our country is called the Rashtrapati. So it is Shri Ramnath Kovind who is the president of our country. Important to know. Second name, we have Shri Venkaiah Naidu. He is the vice president of the country, also called the Uparashtrapati, and he chairs the Rajya Sabha. All the Rajya Sabha members will discuss in his presence. Then we have Shri O.P. Birla. He is the Lok Sabha speaker. Very important. He runs the Lok Sabha, the lower house of our country. Then we have Shri Adir Ranjan Chaudhary, and he is the leader of Indian National Congress in Lok Sabha. Then we have Shri J.P. Nadda. He is the president of BJP. Then we have Srimati Sonia Gandhi. She is the interim president of Indian National Congress. So these are some people whose names are to be known by us and their designations are to be understood by us. It is a part of the syllabus as well, and this can be asked in the exam. So please be clear about these names and their designations. Thank you.